Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. I am Ramon Mejia. This is episode 122.
I'm Edgardo, Acosta.
That's him. Every podcast we bring you the roundup of the week's best Geek and Tech news, discuss that news, and of course, absolutely anything else we happen to be interested in that weekend. This week, we're going to talk about some great stuff, including
Amazon Wardrobe, the augmented reality Mario, Sega giving away free games, SpiderMan Homecoming spoilers, Kiki Teen Delivery Service, movie trailer Showdown, and more.
Yeah, but that's Kiki, not Kinky. So just for the clarification for the audience, different things entirely.
Yeah.
We are made a show, though, of course, with Geek News.
Alright. Amazon is launching Prime Wardrobe, a new program that will let you try on clothes before you buy them. Once you select at least 3 Prime Wardrobe eligible pieces from over 1 million clothing options, Amazon will ship your selections to you in a resealable return box with a prepaid shipping label. After you try on the clothes, you can put the ones you don't want back in the box and leave it in the front door. Prime Wardrobe also comes with a free scheduled pickups from UPS. If you decide to keep at least 3 items, you will get a 10% discount off your purchase. And if you keep 5 or more pieces, the discount rises to 20%.
Yep, one less reason now for me to leave the house and go wardrobe shopping. Just have all my clothes delivered to me and keep the ones that I like. I actually like this idea a lot because that's one of the things about shopping for clothes online that just kind of turns me off, that nothing ever fits right. I mean, clothes in general, everybody makes things slightly different. Different neck lengths or arm lengths or, clothing lengths or whatever. All those things vary between brands. And so you never really know unless you try it on. But this way, you can just have the clothes delivered to you in mass and maybe multiple different sizes just to be sure. And you keep the one that actually fits you or looks nice on you. Mm-hmm. And because it's not charging you, you're more likely to experiment.
Yeah. I think the whole concept is fine and all, but I think honestly in my mind is the sanitary issues, because I guess depending what kind of items of clothing, because there's of course underwear.
I'm assuming that they're going to steam clean them between shipments.
They got to do something about it, because there's some people, man, they're just not hygienically the best of people to be wearing
I assume that would be the issue. Like once anything they get back, steam cleaned or maybe dry cleaned or whatever it is, and then goes back on the shelves.
Yeah.
But you're right, that is kind of a very interesting twist on like what their particular practice is.
Exactly, because plus you don't want somebody like on.
But you have the same issue with like stuff from like the regular clothing store. Like
true.
That anybody tries on anything in a clothing department,
and they don't steam clean.
Yeah,
anything.
you know that they don't clean it. But in this case, I think there's an inherent interest in like making sure that these things are clean, because they're going to people's homes. They might be one from a day or two, and then they send them back.
I don't know about you, but with me, when it comes to like clothes, I'm the type of guy that when I get a brand new shirt, I just put it on. I don't really pre-wash certain clothes. I
don't think you need to pre-wash anything nowadays. I mean, like jeans sometimes shrink a little bit, but even then, it's not. I don't think it's a ton of shrinkage.
Yeah, because like clothing wise, if it's new, I just slap it on. There's nothing else. The only thing is bad is when.
Let me ask you: would you be likely to use this service, like if the clothes were cheaper than, I don't know, like say Macy's or something? Like they're probably never gonna be like Walmart cheap, but like they're cheap enough that they're competitive at least with like a regular chain brand.
I would try it, but I think I like more. Well, my experience is when it comes to clothing at a store, I like having the variety there.
Well, this way you actually have more variety, because you have essentially an unlimited digital catalog of like all the things in their warehouse instead of just the things that are just in that one location. You know what I mean? So you can choose from all these options, and then you can say, oh, this looks cool. On 10 or 20 different things, whatever the case is, have them all sent to you.
I wonder if this is going to be connected somewhat to that one. Was it Amazon, the digital eye mirror thing?
Yeah,
that kind of does the see if you like it, then of course.
Oh, that is a good connection piece. Yeah, this service with that particular option does make a lot of sense actually.
That way, you know what it semi looks like on you. Then until you actually get it shipped to you, you can actually try it on and see if it actually works out.
Yeah, that's actually nice. Yeah. That would be the virtual equivalent of like checking out the mirror at the store.
Yeah, I wonder how it works also for damaged stuff, because heaven forbid it's either lousy material, you put on a shirt, you rip through the sleeve.
Probably have to mark it like, uh, arrive damaged or something. Same thing with like books. Like you can always just send them back, no questions asked,
Yeah.
and they just give you a refund.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about it like, well, shirts, pants, dresses, basic
Yeah.
article clothing, shoes.
There might be things like they're not going to send you like underwear.
That's what I say, undergarments, though. That might be a little
Yeah.
questionable.
Maybe
But,
bras. But like other clothing options like shirts, pants, shoes,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Pretty much anything can be sent, so.
Yeah. So I'm looking for. I mean, I plan to try it out at some point.
I would definitely do it for costumes.
Oh,
especially for cosplay stuff. Oh, I would trying out like different morph suits and stuff like that. Oh, that'd be awesome.
There you go. So you found a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Next story. Microsoft. This is actually a fun game story that I happen to like. I'll pull up the video for the people at home who are going to watch the production version of this. Let's see. The Microsoft wanted basically some guy came up with an augmented reality version of Super Mario Brothers using HoloLens. Yes, that thing still exists. It's just in developer mode right now. He basically created a one-on-one action of the very first level as kind of a test product to say that this would be viable as an actual HoloLens game. And I think that's the thing that's going to sell augmented and virtual reality is that it's going to be, video games, things that are fun, because people can always find boring things to do with technology, but it's never going to be the thing that sells it and makes it exciting to consumers. It's always going to be things like video games. Oh, yeah. And so this is kind of a fun way of saying you get people to exercise, you get people out of the house by combining virtual reality and real reality and an augmented reality combination, and it just looks fun to do. Like I wouldn't mind going in the house playing Pokemon this way, or playing some other shooter game, or even just this, like jumping and hitting things. Even though obviously it's pixelated version, so the art style is very traditional. It just looks fun.
I like the whole, because obviously it's new to a lot of people to have that awkwardness of you moving kind of funky, but then everybody looking at you moving kind of funky.
Yeah.
So this game, out of all of them, really nice, really basic, but the illusion of I want to jump in the pipes, I want to actually warp, but sadly that's kind of going to be kind of limited. But it's also depending on the type of game. The game that I would kind of steer away from that would kind of freak out a lot of people would be like the fighting games like Streets of Rage or Final Fight. See some guy just kind of swinging and kicking.
No, there's always a sense of like use your best judgment when you're using this outlet. He's in a park in a very public space on a very long like kind of pathway street, and you can see people like walk by in the background, giving him funny because they don't see what he sees.
Exactly.
And I think that's always going to be the shift in technology that people aren't going to understand what you're doing. And at the same point, you have to be comfortable with that awkwardness of like being judged for doing weird things, but who cares? You're having a good time.
To me, the ultimate game that would totally translate to augmented reality, especially as a kid, I don't know if you played it, The Floor is Lava.
Oh yeah, they sort of have. I've seen like demos of that.
Yeah.
With virtual reality or even augmented reality, where it's just all of the floor turns to lava, and people have to jump from couch to couch or whatever.
Exactly.
And so it's like room scaling virtual reality where that everything is scanning, so the system knows where all the furniture is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have you seen that stupid mini like viral thing going on where the floor is lava?
With the actual rolled out mats?
No. This is some viral thing. I remember like the ice challenge or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They're doing something kind of similar, except there's no benefit to society. It's just that people are doing viral videos like, oh, the floor is lava, and you have to suddenly jump on something. Yeah, and people are just doing stupid things like jumping on trash cans, falling inside, just climbing all over furniture in the department stores. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like for the people that have a sense of humor, that's fun and all, but there's obviously the bad people.
It's
out
mostly
there.
kids,
Oh,
but yeah,
but you
it's fine.
See some like a-hole, especially if you have your VR set. I'm all like, look at this fool.
Yeah.
This jack him.
Which is one of those things, yeah, that you're not paying attention to. That happens in Pokemon Go. This guy's just walking around this neighborhood. He doesn't know where he's at, not paying attention. Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of more game stuff.
This is going to be awesome.
Transition. There.
Me or you?
That's you.
Me?
Yeah, see, it's in purple.
Oh. Okay. All right, guys. Sega is bringing some of your favorite games to mobile in a new free-to-play formats that include ads as a way to drive revenue, support offline play, and other more modern features like cloud saves. The games can also be rendered ad-free with a one-time $1.99 purchase, which is a really good deal even if you're given the pedigree of some of these titles and what you may pay elsewhere to get re-released versions of the classic console games. The Sega Forever collection already has 5 titles you can get at launch, including Sonic the Hedgehog, Phantasy Star 2, Comic Zone, Kid Chameleon, and Altered Beast. Each of these will be available for both Google Play Store and App Store for iOS devices.
Yeah, so this is just kind of a fun thing that Sega's doing anything. I think that this is always the way we'd imagine that these classic games would be released, free to play or very inexpensively. But if it's free to play, then it's going to be ad oriented, of course.
Yeah.
Which is reasonable. I mean, every adult kind of understands nothing's really for free. All those free services you use, whether it's Google or Gmail or whatever, they're all actually being paid for alternative means than just you giving them money.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like especially your Facebook accounts and stuff. Anything you click on,
any Facebook game,
it's a survey for them.
Yeah, and I mean, we've thrown up ads where like, oh, we generate like little things like video, like clips or surveys or things, and same thing. I mean, already like free games online, they're either sending you ads or they're taking your information and selling to other people.
Yep.
And that's all part of as long as you understand that going in, it's totally legit. Any of these games interested to buy?
Well, I honestly wasn't really a Sega guy growing up. I was a Nintendo dude. But Sega was fun. They've had some titles alone that I honestly on that system I could only play that I haven't beaten. I've always wanted to. I haven't never beaten Altered Beast.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten past the first or second levels. Although it's a very fun game and like you change and you get different powers.
Yeah,
I always liked that about it. But it was very much more towards like Ghosts and Goblins, and its difficulty level. Like, oh, you get hit a couple times and you're just dead.
Yeah, another one that was pretty good. I think it was a Sega exclusive. Golden Axe. Axe is pretty cool.
Always fun. Multiplayer game, too.
Yeah, it was like very kind of like Conan the Barbarian with other...
That was also more of an arcade game, I think, as well.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a little slow moving, but it was fun. I liked it. Anything that from the Sega universe, well, seeing this thing that it showed the Dreamcast, I'm like, oh, man.
Well, I figured like anything in the library is going to be available. I mean, they're all playable on your phone, whether it's through an emulator or through an official, app. Like... Might as well make some money, Sega. You know what I mean?
Totally. Any games that you can think of through the Sega universe? I don't know if you were a Sega guy at all.
Yeah, I like Sega. I like their handheld system. I think I had that for a while. Sonic the Hedgehog is always the big one. Echo the Dolphin is always kind of a nice puzzler kind of game, but also like different mechanics as you move through the entire 3D space. Nothing else on the top of my head kind of stands out to me.
Well, hopefully they especially being a Sega not necessarily exclusive title, but some of the titles that were in multiple game systems. I love to see all the Marvel titles, of course, on there.
Yeah,
we'll see if the licensing will allow that. Marvel, Mega Man. Mega Man was always fun.
No, I would always assume that these have to be Sega produced games, not other titled games, like things that were ported into or from other game company producers, because those all have their own particular license that they're trying to make money on. And yeah, I just don't see those things appearing. But like exclusive titles made by Sega company directly, or by subsidiaries for their consoles, why not just show them up?
That's true.
I think they have a few RPGs in there as well, but they were a much smaller game production company.
Yeah, too bad of the fall. Like even Dreamcast, the Dreamcast system honestly was ahead of its time with graphics and all, but it just didn't, last.
No, other things came out that were just slightly better with better games, and so it went the way of a lot of stuff.
But like I said before, when I saw this story, I messaged Ramon. I'm like, "Fucking Nintendo, come on, man,
catch up, man." No, I think they're testing the system out with Fire Emblem on your iOS and Android device, and also Mario, the Mario Run game. Like those are their two that they've made enough money off it. I'm sure they'll bring other intellectual properties to their system, but they also have their own handheld system that they're trying to sell, which is going to be the Nintendo Switch. And so competing with just these variety of platforms, because almost every iOS device is different from the other one, and every Android device, especially like 30 or 40 iterations of it, it's much harder to develop a thing for that because you have to account for all those different variances, as opposed to just one system like the Switch. And so where you're going to put your resources at is what makes the most money and costs you the least amount.
Yeah, because compared to the NES Classic that came out, if you go to stores right now, you can still find that one Sega console that has like 30, 50 games on it, and still has a slot to actually play some of the Sega games on there. So,
but it's not as popular as the NES because it just doesn't have those same nostalgia feel, I think. Sega was always like the redheaded stepchild of the video game world.
That'd be like... The only thing that was always like it was kind of ahead of its time that I thought it would made it awesome, but honestly there wasn't that much good of games for at least for Sega is the Sega CD. You ever played the Sega
The add-on,
CD?
I think I never. I don't think my parents ever wanted to spend an extra $200 for the Sega CD adapter.
Yeah,
Like,
you
oh,
just
here's
literally
some.
put it
Here's a
on.
thing.
I tried it. The only game that I played was I think called something Turbo Shark, and there was a
Yeah.
music video generator kind of thing. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
old nostalgia man right now. Okay,
exactly.
there you go. Moving on to some other stories. We have Pokemon Go, which we were just mentioning. They're undergoing some major changes for their summer event. It's been a year apparently since it initially came out, and unfortunately, not all of the things we were hoping for have shown up yet. So there's no player versus player action. Gyms though are going to get a little bit more accessible. There are going to be some larger gym battles, larger variety of people that can put their characters in gyms potentially, and those monsters aren't just going to disappear automatically when they're defeated. Instead, they will lose. What is it called?
Experience.
No, it's called. There's a specific mechanic. It's like their motivation. Every time
Okay.
that they're killed or every time they're beat, they're going to lose their motivation to fight until it goes to zero, and then they get defeated. So you can play with your friends to defeat like a specifically hard gym,
Mm-hmm.
and repeatedly and get rewards for it. And once you conquer the gym, then you can add your own Pokemon. Alternative, they're also going to be in this update raid battles. So there's going to be like periodically a gym will be taken over by like a super powerful hard monster,
Oh, okay.
and everyone will have to work together to fight it and defeat it. And for
Football
like a
style.
certain number of minutes afterwards, everyone will have a chance to capture it.
That's cool.
So you can get like extra rare monsters, extra tough ones that way by working together with a team or a community. So and that's their cooperative gameplay mechanic that they have for gym battles. So, but no player versus player yet.
That's the biggest thing, honestly. Once they got that down, they're set, man. They're golden, but they're waiting for some permits. I think they're gonna try to figure out how to make money off of it. That's
Well,
their
no,
main
they're still
goal.
making money off of it by adding. You can raise your character on the gym. You can raise your monsters' motivation level by feeding them berries. So you can either collect them by going around getting them from gyms or hotspots or whatever, or you can just pay for them. So at this point, Pokemon Go is making something like $1 million a day. So I don't think I think they're doing pretty decently. And so every summer, put up more content, better stuff. I think they're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. But is this enough to get you back into the game?
Honestly, I haven't done it in quite a while. I need to re-download the app pretty much. I think that was my main killer on my phone was the battery drainage on
Yes.
it because of that.
I'd put in my pocket the extra portable battery, and it would still kind of kill
Oh yeah,
both of them.
Yeah, it's just
Um,
insane.
yeah, so walking around with it was not as battery efficient as we would
Yeah.
hoped.
Just glad we weren't carrying those explodey phones. That
Yes.
would have been a horrible, horrible experience.
Yes. Okay. More game stuff.
Yeah, it is time again, once again, for the annual ritual of the buying of the PC games that you'll never go into play. Welcome to the 2017 Steam Summer Sale, going from June 22nd to July 5th. The sale is live on Steam right now, which includes major discounts on Final Fantasy, Ghost Recon, Call of Duty franchises. Today's highlights include Shadow of Mordor for $4, Mafia 3 for $15, and Steam World Heist for only $5, amongst other deals. Earlier this week, the site crashed because of the high demand from games.
Yeah, gamers are just going in over left and right. Especially if you're a PC gamer, this is like your event of the year. Like all those games that you couldn't afford to buy throughout the year, they're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% off sometimes. Even I have been tempted several times when I had a gaming computer just to purchase the game just because it was like $5 and normally it's 20. And they're like, oh, that's just too good of a deal to like test out this game that I might never play more than once.
Been there.
and so yeah, this is a big time for Steam. So if you have a PC that can play video games, go check it out. I mean, you never know what you enjoy. Just make sure you check those spec requirements to make sure your PC can actually play them.
Yeah, especially for the hardcore gamers that don't want to leave the house. This is the time of year. I haven't seen Xboxes yet, or Nintendo, or PlayStation.
Yeah,
but
they're all
there
gonna have
is-
their own little sales.
They all have that summer sale, some of the great stuff to just pretty much keep you inside and keep you out of that sun. I myself have bought quite a bit of games myself that I literally have, like I said once, and I said it before, a lot of digital dust.
Yeah,
A lot of digital stuff.
you have lots of things for your consoles that just you don't have time for. I wonder if that would be the case if you had like a handheld console like the Switch, though.
I don't
Like,
know.
do you have enough free time at work that you could like just sit down for 5 or 10 minutes and
Honestly, 5 or 10 minutes is not enough.
I mean, just
for
play
me
like a game.
depending on the game that I'm playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, but there are a lot of games you can just pick up and put down. Like, oh, I can play for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
beat this monster or this little dungeon, and
Save
and just continue on, or just put it down, or
yeah. I get too sucked into some of my games depending once I get into it is like, okay, I just need 5 more rubies and I'll be able to buy this one thing.
Yeah.
But then like upgrade, like I got the weapon that I need. Now I can actually go beat that bad guy now.
Yeah.
So then I go beat up the bad guy. Oh, I just beat up the bad guy, which opens up the new level, and it becomes
it's a huge time sink sometimes. I'm saying, like, would you do better with a handheld console like the Switch, like something you could take with you, but then at the same time just drop in the dock. You're playing on the big screen now.
Totally, I would totally.
Yeah?
I'm very interested in Switch. I'm
Just curious.
still waiting for Nintendo to expand their, I guess, Switch library.
No, it's going to be Zelda, then in October Mario, and those are going to be the big titles. And at some point, we're hoping for more third-party stuff.
I'm all for even their old stuff.
But Metroid's coming out in 2018, and a bunch of other things 2018 as well. So you're going to get more stuff then.
Yeah, because my wife, honestly, she wants the old stuff. She wants old school Mario, the 8-bit Mario.
Yeah, well, when they put in the old library, there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
then you have all that stuff. It'll just be another subscription.
Totally. Yeah.
And then she could play, of course, on the handheld or on the big screen, depending on who's around or what you're doing that day.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that might be a possible holiday purchase, but right now,
Yeah, you're probably better off with a holiday period because they'll start bundling with other games like
Yeah.
Mario or Zelda would be bundled with the actual Switch, so that'll save you like $50, plus some stuff.
I'm waiting for more Mario titles. At least for the Nintendo world, Mario titles have always been fun, but Capcom is the game developers to me is the biggest thing because
You have some fighting games now. You have Street Fighter 4, I think it is.
Arms.
Yeah, Arms. I think is going to be. I haven't played it yet.
Did they get you Arms for the holiday so you can see you beating around your wife?
I don't know how fun it is. Honestly, I've never. It doesn't seem like that particular of a fun game to me.
Did you ever play the Wii version of the boxing game?
That was fun.
Same thing.
I think this one has more mechanics, so like there's more depth to like the amount of moves you can do.
And the whole spring, like, that kind of.
We'll see.
Whatever, yeah.
I don't mind playing a demo. I think.
Oh yeah, demo. That's one of the pluses about gaming because there's no point of buying a whole game that you're stuck with a piece of shit that you don't like.
Yeah. Okay. And some more semi-game entertainment news. We're talking about the Switch. One of the characters or games coming out is going to be Mario Rabbids. This is a XCOM style game, third-person perspective, like going around fighting other bad guys in like a turn-based strategy game. One of the characters, which is going to be Rabbit Peach, which is one of the rabbits dressed as Peach. She apparently has her own Instagram account, and it's quite entertaining. Some of the photos in there, you can actually see if you go back far enough in the little Instagram account, you can see some of the photos from like older games in the Rabbit franchise. But they're still very funny and interesting, and people are commenting left and right on them. And so it's obviously a marketing ploy, but it's still interesting. So I thought I'd just share it with the audience.
I want to see, especially because of the popularity of the rabbits and of course of the minions. I want to see them battle each other out. It'd just be kind of an interesting game concept. But also, especially now that they got the rabbits on, if legality, licensing, all that fun stuff will allow, I'm waiting for another Switch-related game to happen. Is an updated Brawl, and that'd be cool to see. Like
I just know that's in there at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, the Brawl with the rabbits in it.
I don't know that Nintendo owns the rabbits as much as they were just co-creating a game.
Well, hopefully they're working because I think it would be fun at least to have those characters because they're very entertaining. They're like the equivalent to the Minions from DreamWorks from the Despicable Me franchise.
Yeah, I feel like they're a ripoff of the Minions, or maybe the Minions are a ripoff of them. I'm not sure which came first.
I would say, okay, in the world of Minions, I'm going to say as early...
I feel like it's something we can look up.
I want to say as early as the Little Green Men from Toy Story.
Yeah.
For the most quote-unquote modern style. But Minions have always kind of been around.
I'll tell you what. You look at the next story, because you have to read that one, and I will look it up on the internet.
History of Minions?
Yes. Like, who came out first, the Minions movie or the Rabbids? Like, which game came out first?
You want to go games?
That'll be... Well, Rabbids is a game. It's not like an intellectual property, but it had movies about them.
Okay.
Versus the Minions movie, which is a very finite date.
Got other things on Minions, but yeah, I'll read the story.
Minions...
Humanity is outgunned, outmatched, and enslaved in a gritty new short film from South African science fiction. Wonderkin? Yeah, Wonderkin Neil Bloomkamp. Conquering aliens called the Clume are crushing us, and under their goopy nanotech enhanced boot heels in Raqqa, and 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 with humanity backed in the corner, the future looks bleak. Psychopaths are the most competitive survivalists. Suicide bombing is normal, and scrappy band of rebels led by Sigourney Weaver are our only hope in this 20-minute short film from director of Chappie, District 9 and Asylum. Which I was a fan of the. I haven't seen Chappie. I did see District 9. District 9 kind of got my attention. It was very kind of weird.
Yeah.
But the weird way, like, got your attention weird. Like, I want to see where this is going. So, but I haven't seen Chappie yet. I'm seeing how it turns out.
Looks like the Rabbids came first in 2006 in like a Rayman game,
That's true.
and
That's
so
true. Raymond,
the Minions came out in 2015. So there you go, folks. That controversy has been put to rest. The Rabbids came out first.
my thing was like there's always been a lead bad guy, and the bad guy's always had like minions in one way or another.
Yeah, Minions in general. Yeah, but I'm speaking specifically about the DreamWorks Minions, the yellow fuzzy guys that look like walking Twinkies.
much, yeah.
Those between those guys and the Rabbids came out first. So there you go. Now going back to the actual story about Raqqa, which is the Neil Blomkamp. He created a studio, and this is their first short film. They got Sigourney Weaver in it. It's like a 20-minute series of little short films, like little vignettes. It makes a nicer film. Super interesting. I encourage you to go check it out. We have a link in the show notes for you if you're not able to watch the full video broadcast here. But it's great special effects. The lizard characters are very alienish, and that they're hard to relate to, but they also have like this organic kind of technology system. So they look dirty, but they're actually the nanotech. And this is a full-on story. I feel like this is a short film that will hopefully be picked up by a bigger studio and made into like a full 60, 90-minute movie because this is just that interesting. It's a good 20-minute short film that's full-on story stuff, and you get Sigourney Weaver. You get a bunch of like aspects of like tech, and the fact that humanity is on its way out because this alien society or civilization has come to terraform our planet so that they can live there and not us. Which means that they're changing the atmosphere. Plants are dying off. They're literally kidnapping people and experimenting on them, or just murdering them for no reason whatsoever. And destroying buildings. And the whole history is like set up within the short film. So super fun. Nice way to spend 20 minutes. Not super kid friendly though.
Oh, like I said, his franchise of films was always once again it makes you wonder where it was going at. I hope it does get picked up because honestly, right now, other than superhero films and of course like the Alien franchise, there's been
his stuff is always interesting though.
A little bit of slacking in the sci-fi world,
Yeah, but again, like I said, go check it out. It's super fun. I know we talked about the trailer like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and this is the full-on short film version of it, and it's highly entertaining. Even some action, but it also describes some of the things that would come out from this kind of situation, like psychopaths being great survivalists all of a sudden. And be able to do all the things they want to do because there are no laws and rules. But at the same point, by the resistance, they're useful because they're okay with killing things indiscriminately. So,
just like this, the what do you call it? Survivalists here in the United States,
sort of
the end of the world kind of.
Yeah,
folks.
It's very much that same kind of concept, like The Walking Dead. Like the really bad people are going to do well because they're willing to do things that traditional society had said no before.
Yeah.
Too. So there you go. Okay, on to some more movie news. We have some great information about the latest Godzilla movie, which is going to be called King of the Monsters. And apparently they've decided on all the monsters showing up there. It's going to be Mothra and Ghidorah. So it's going to be Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah will all show in addition to Godzilla. So it's going to be a 4-on-1 battle, apparently. So yay. I like all those monsters. They think they tease them all at the end of the King Kong movie as well.
Mm-hmm. So little silhouette things in the background.
Yeah, like at the end of the movie. Yeah,
it was really good. It was really good. My thing is, what I want to see, of course, is Mecha Godzilla.
Yes,
that's a whole different thing.
I'm like that might be the surprise monster of this film. You never know.
Like the only other bad part is it's obviously a big time difference in that world in 2 different universes. That crossover with Pacific Rim.
Oh,
that would be awesome. And throw in a couple Power Rangers while you're at it. Just
why not? Yeah,
big old monster Megazord battle out.
I would watch all those films.
The only one that I was honestly, I'm sorry, I wasn't too much of a huge fan of the large suited up characters was like Ultraman.
Oh, I actually liked Ultraman. It was as entertaining as the Power Rangers. It never got the American twist on it. I never got the American like spin. It was always subtitled or dubbed Japanese versions. They never made the like Americanized like Power Rangers. All those action and fighting scenes, they're all in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, all the special effects are done in Japan. It's just all the live action like them without their masks.
Yeah.
That's all that's shot in the U.S. with the American actors. Everything else is when their costume. All that's just original Japanese work, and that was never done for Ultraman.
I wonder if, especially with the Godzilla semi-franchise is going to do, I really doubt, but it would be awesome to see the baby Godzilla too, the little chubby face kind of little.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I think that's depending on how much money these movies make. Like King Kong did enough to justify that this thing comes out.
But that was the thing.
They've already started. I think they started filming on this one too.
Yeah, because for the longest time, at least in my mind, because I didn't know, I needed to get it confirmed. Was Godzilla a guy or a girl?
Who says he's gender specific? It could be a self-replicator.
That's true.
It could have both genders inside of itself and just self-inseminates. Yeah.
Hermaphrodite monster. Sounds mean, but yeah.
I think there's other more scientific terms besides hermaphrodite for actual species, but it's a self-fertilizing. There's an actual term for a creature that self-fertilizes. There is. You can look it up. I mean,
I agree.
There's a full scientific name.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's a trans monster. Okay, just accept it for who he is, or her. But anyway, yeah, I want to see that. The only thing is with the Moth, though. Mothra has always been kind of a funky character because he always had that the mouth of the little silly string would come out.
Yeah, kind of a powder attack, very much like the Moth from like Pokemon.
Well, that was the sleeping Butterfree kind of sleeping sprinkling kind of thing. But I always just loved the he opens his mouth and like silly string would come out and Godzilla would be covered all in the weird webbing. Ghidra was always kind of like a weird Rodan. I don't know, Rodan. Anything with a two-headed creature was always kind of funky to me because it's more of a scientific question, not like how who controls what and all that kind of thing.
I suppose it's like their equivalent of the Hydra.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to see that. The big bout, of course, is the main bout is Godzilla versus Kong. I want to see how that's going to go down. Like for Godzilla, you assume, or I would assume, hopefully he'll have his fire breathing / whatever power ability. His little spike things charge up and just shoot up because Kong, other than his smarts, doesn't really have any like powers or abilities like all these other monsters have. They have a lightning attack.
I think that's like his thing is like he's a tool user. He can use weapons. He can kind of find them and use his intelligence, his primary intelligence, I guess, against the other monsters. Okay, well, I'm also looking up self-fertilization. I'm getting some really weird things with the Google search filter off. So
yeah, the internet. So yeah, careful.
Yes. Okay.
Stuff, but
next story, Kiki. Yeah,
Kiki. Studio Ghibli's Kiki delivery service starts a 13-year-old witch named Kiki. She's now been reimagined as a 17-year-old high school student in a new instant ramen spot. For Nissin's Hungry Day campaign, the noodle maker roped in manga artist Isaku Kubonoki.
There you go.
Okay. To design the older versions of Kiki and her pal Tombo. The commercial's theme is Seishun or youth, and in it, Kiki confesses her romantic feelings to Tombo. Aww.
There you go. Yes, it's very cute. Well, we're playing it right now for the people who at home who can see the full video version. It's absolutely adorable. You see a slightly older Kiki just being a teenager and also still flying. And apparently the guy, though, has turned into like a hipster hunk.
I was going to say, because usually
he got taller,
when they age them up, depending on the route they go, they usually, of course, make the girl a little hotter, a little sexier.
She doesn't.
Her dress becomes a little shorter.
No, I think she's wearing the exact same dress. It just fits better now.
With bigger knockers.
Nope. No, I mean, did you watch what I threw it up on the screen, but
for a quick second.
No, it's only a 30-second commercial. That's all it is. I mean, it's not like a full-on movie or anything.
Oh, okay.
It is just the commercial, thing of it. So we'll throw it.
Like those, like the sexified kind of those Asian commercials where she's like really busty and low cleavage, and she's like, ha ha ha, and just bouncing up and down.
No, he looks different, but she's wearing I think a schoolwear uniform.
Kind of reminds me of a chick from Naruto.
Yeah, that's
Not
all it is.
bad.
Yeah, she's still skinny, awkward looking.
Still kind of gave her the semi-short hair.
You can tell that it's her, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, very hipster-ish.
It's not a complicated. It's a commercial for noodles.
Buy our shit.
Buy our stuff. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I am surprised that they got like the official, version of them. Like,
Exactly.
that's nice.
Noodles so good, even Kiki will eat them.
Kiki will deliver your noodles, apparently. There you go. Okay, next story, which I'm actually really excited about.
Yay.
We talked about like who's going to be the main villain for the upcoming Venom films, and they finally told us it's going to be Carnage. Like we kind of hypothesized it couldn't be anyone else. Like for Venom, unless it was going to be Spider-Man for some reason, it was going to be like where Venom is going to be the hero. The only other like major villain in his like universe is going to be Carnage. Like first off, like it's his kid. Only it's a more evil version of him who's willing to just massacre people because he bonds to a sociopath. And it actually feeds off the blood of others. So I thought that was always a very interesting, character. And that's going to be the villain. So I'm super excited to see it. Additionally, there's a couple other stories in that realm, in that Spider-Man apparently may visit in the Venom story. But Venom is never going to be in a Spider-Man movie. And I think that's more along the lines like, they don't want to repeat Spider-Man 3 by having Venom be the villain. But in the Venom franchise, like Venom is the hero.
Yeah.
And so Spider-Man can come visit. But Tom Holland was like, oh no, you're never going to see Venom in my movies because we learned our lesson, basically. But apparently Spider-Man is also going to be in the Black Canary movie. I think that's what it was.
Black Canary, Spider-Man.
Black Cat movie.
I was gonna say.
I forget what it's called. It's the one with Black Cat and
Black Cat,
Silver Sable.
Yeah.
That combo.
Yeah.
So very interesting. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I was thinking, wasn't sure where they're gonna go around because they, of course, they go with the separation anxiety storyline, or even the Maximum Carnage storyline, but that would involve all the other characters and, of course,
and it is rated R. I mean, this Venom film, this kind of explains why it's rated R, by the way.
You can get ready to see a bunch, and I'm not complaining, a bunch of CG because visually it's amazing. Even in stills in the video game world was pretty good.
I'm hoping they go with the Spawn level of costume design. Like Spawn's character, the actor was mostly just practical effects for him himself.
Yeah.
Like the stuff he did later on looked crappy and CG-ish. But like when he was just sitting still talking, he was just a big dude in a costume.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's what they kind of do for Venom. And like just do enough special effects to animate his mouth or something.
Just feed the body.
But yeah, Carnage is totally going to be
everywhere because they
all
have like
CG,
semi-tentacle-ish kind of things
that's
coming out.
too hard to do practically,
Teeth and along the eyes.
Yeah.
Like I said, visually, on paper, and comics, on video games, it looks good. It didn't transition that well, at least to me, in the animated version.
No, it did not.
You ever watch the...
Which one? Like the...
I think it was the... Amazing Spider-Man?
It wasn't as graphic in the
90
animated
ones.
version, like the Amazing Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't I mean, I liked the character.
That's the first time I've seen Carnage.
And Carnage just wasn't as graphic and bloody. No. He was just kind of like a more annoying version of Venom.
Yeah.
But it was still interesting story in that these are Spider-Man offshoots, and they get their powers from Spider-Man, and so he feels like it's his responsibility to take care of them.
Yeah, because the other...
Even there are probably more adult superheroes around who can take care of them better.
Yeah, in the Ultimate Spider-Man, the alternative world planet kind of, their Carnage was like a weird alien bony creature. It still had the red and black pattern to it, but it was annoying. In the current version now...
Yeah, I think they're going to do a Venomverse at this point, where like just like that, the Spider-Verse, where all those different Spider-Mans are all in multiverses in one place. They're doing the same thing with Venom and Carnage, I think.
Did you see him in the Web Warriors? That version of Carnage?
No.
That version is like chunky, bulky, kind of like offshoot of Venom, but yeah. But even Venom himself, I want to hopefully they give him the white spider kind of thing.
Yeah. Which is the offshoot of the black suited Spider-Man.
And everybody loves that teeth and tongue, man. The teeth and tongue and the eyes. Pretty much Venom in general.
I figure they can do like different transitions between when the symbiote's in control and when the guy under the symbiote's in control. Like different variations, like how wiggly mouth it's going to be.
As long as they totally avoid that the Eric Foreman, that 70 show version guy.
He was always so skinny. I'm like, yeah, that's never...
He's the big bulky guy.
Yeah. Okay. So that was just a fun little bit of news. Also, we have a couple of new screenshots for T'Challa in the Black Panther. It's just a really interesting look at the poster they're going to use. Now, is it me, or does that throne look like it has Asgardian letters on it?
Very similar. Honestly, that it would explain up the whole science and technology because, like, I looked at the lettering and I'm like, it's not exactly Asian, but it is almost like, the style
It looks
when it goes up and
runic,
down.
which which would be Asgardian to me.
Exactly. Um, they're gonna have to connect it because there's has to be a reason that the Wakandan community has evolved so much in science. Don't get me wrong; if they're super smart, they're awesome. That's great. But I did see some similarities though,
Like
especially
it could have
with
been an
the
offshoot of
technology.
like the same civilizations that started off with the Asgardian. Someone from there came to Africa
The black guy
and
from
started an empire potentially,
yeah
or just the technology, or he taught them.
yeah
Although I'm not sure how I would feel about that because part of the appeal of Wakanda is that they're self sufficient, that
yes
they've never had to depend on anyone for their technology. Alternatively, they could be lifting or copying Asgardian technology just with their intelligence. Like, oh,
yes
we have to use these ruins because that's part of their Asgardian technology.
mm-hmm.
But at the same point, we're adapting it because we're super smart.
Totally.
I like the second version better, to be honest.
Yeah.
Rather than them being the natives who were, graciously taught by this alien civilization, the white Asgardians, or like
Mm-hmm.
maybe just the one black person there. I like the idea that they're just so advanced that they can actually understand Asgardian technology, and they've started to adapt
They make it modify.
the few bits that they've been able to get their hands on.
Oh
That
yeah.
to me is a lot cooler.
Yeah, because it'd be like, what was it? Oh, God, Project 57 or so. It's a one shot that I'm gonna get to finish, but I heard about it where this couple finds this takes place right after the Avengers, where what were the aliens called?
The aliens.
The
I don't know if they had a specific
not
name.
Shi'ar. I'm thinking that's a whole different thing. Not the scrolls, but they're
I don't think there was a squirrel, wasn't it?
No, there was a take on scrolls, but they were called something else.
Well, let's call them aliens.
The aliens anyway. They dropped their weapons, after the war and everything, and
Yeah.
this couple finds it and picks it up, and they just play around, try to figure it out. I think it's going to be somewhat the same concept.
Well, that's
So, like,
sort of what happens in SpiderMan Homecoming, isn't it? Like, somebody has to do the cleanup version of it, of all that damage and rebuilding from all those alien attacks and all the Avengers stuff that happens. And so it turns out to be the Vulture's company. Like, he built an entire empire upon kind of cleaning up this tech, but also taking that tech and adapting it for regular human use. So I think that's kind of what you're talking about in that people are adapting technologies to their own purpose, even if they don't fully understand it.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, but cool poster, but it's not like a huge deal. But I noticed that detail. I'm like, oh no, that's interesting. I'm curious to see how that plays into, Wakandan history. If they're going to try to say, it was the nice God that came down from heaven that gave them that boost, or if they've already been so advanced because they never had a Dark Ages that they're already smart enough to understand, alien technology more.
makes sense either
Yeah,
way.
I'm kind of curious. Okay, next comic book movie related story. We got a few spoilers here, folks. If you're not interested in hearing Spider-Man Homecoming spoilers, well, not really. They're just some releases. Just skip ahead about a minute or so. Okay, that was your warning. It looks like Donald Glover is going to be appearing in the movie. We knew that, but he's going to be playing the role of the Prowler. So there you go. Additionally, Pepper Potts is returning. So Gwyneth Paltrow is going to come back in the film. I think they spoiled it a little in that her and Robert Downey Jr. are going to be getting back together in this particular movie. Like, at least there's a leaked image of them dancing together. So we know Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark is there. We knew from the last Avengers movie that him and Pepper Potts are kind of split up. So this might be the way that they're coming back, or maybe Pepper Potts sees Tony Stark hitting on Aunt May, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" That could be it as well. We never know. Or maybe Tony's just like, "Look, we're not into this group thing. I don't think we can be associated anymore." Never know. But also Jennifer Connelly is going to show up as Karen, the suit lady, who's also the AI system voice in Peter Parker's suit. So cool stuff all around. Nothing too spoilery, but some interesting cameos.
Yeah, I want to know what the Prowlers, especially if they have him in costume form, what he's going to look like. Because the old school comic, even cartoon version, I wasn't really
Not
so much a fan of it.
not that nice worm.
Not that green cape with the like oversized claws and
Yeah, the picture we
gauntlets
have
and-
on in our show notes is like looks like a just a version of the Punisher.
yeah,
Yeah.
Black Punisher pretty
Yeah.
much.
So there you go.
Trench coat.
Now on to Dazzler, which I thought this was.
Yeah.
I love the photo more than the story.
Of course.
To be honest, yeah.
According to Entertainment Weekly, Dazzler will have a role in the X-Men Dark Phoenix, the next installment of the X-Men franchise. So Dazzler's always been a semi-laughable character, but she's been modified to become lovable.
She felt very much like Jubilee in that her powers are kind of wimpy, but potentially awesome in the right circumstances. Dazzler's ability was to turn sound waves into light shows. And light effects, and so she's basically her own special effects crew. And as a singer, of course, she controls the sound waves. So that was always her thing. I always like the fact that she's also a intergalactic superstar, not just on Earth. Like at some points in like the X-Men storyline or the Marvel franchise, she goes intergalactic and she entertains people around the universe.
Yeah, especially when they modified her character, she became like a very 70s like rock icon.
Yeah, and apparently she was a tie-in for like a movie company, like a music company, I should say. So it was like it very was much of like the 80s, like glam rock kind of style.
Yeah, because this picture compared to her like I don't know if you ever played the X-Men arcade game where she had like really short hair, weird little. She looked very much like a blonde Pat.
It was the version that they had in the X-Men comic. In the X-Men animated series, that version of Dazzler, which was a little more punk rock.
Yeah. She had like the semi-rogue short jacket, blue outfit with like a star kind of thing. But yeah, her whole pose / when she uses her ability, she had that Charlie's Angel like putting her fingers together, kind of pointing, go pew 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 kind of deal. It wasn't like atomic.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like she sings and she can shoot lasers. That's a light.
I gotta admit, they made her hot.
Yeah.
They made her really hot compared to what she was.
So there you go. So we might see her somewhere, maybe as an entertainer, or maybe one of the X-Men.
Yeah, I like her.
Like she's one that gets killed off early.
I like her Gem in the Hologram, Ziggy Stardust kind of like makeup too.
Yep. There you go. So that's fun. Next fun story is going to be someone's trying to make an HBO version of the Watchmen series. So that's kind of cool. It's just starting early development. It's from the same maker producer of The Leftovers, Damien Lindelof. So if you're into that show. The Watchmen comic series is highly entertaining, beloved by many people. It's a more gritty version, of course, of the X-Men and DC Comics Justice League, and that each one of the characters is seriously flawed, makes very questionable moral decisions, but at the same point, it's a more realistic version of the superhero thing. But people find it interesting, so why not make it a serialized story? I mean, Game of Thrones is ending, so they have to replace it with something.
Yeah, it's been talked for a lot about. Like, I wouldn't mind an animated series. That's fine, depending on the animation style.
No, I prefer live action. Yeah, they did a good version of the Watchmen movie in theaters, so why not?
Yeah, go for it.
You think, I forget his name, though, the guy that did The Comedian, showing up again on the HBO version?
Hopefully, man. He was actually a good character. He was, visually, he always just got my attention. I was like, see, what is he going to do?
Yeah, was it Mark Maron that did the guy? The comedian in the movie, I think.
Honestly, I see the look. I could totally see it.
I could see Mark Maron doing at least the HBO version.
What about now, though? He'd be kind of old.
It's fine. It's an older character. I mean, they could young him up for the earlier versions.
Bulk him up a little bit, but at least he could do that with a bodysuit. But yeah, Watchmen is one series that honestly I never read the comic book. When the movie came out, I was like, well, what's this all about? And that's how pretty much a lot of comic book movies for the people that unless you read it yourself, you're a fan. For a newbie like me, for Watchmen.
Looks like it wasn't in the movie. It was Edward Blake. He looks a lot like Mark Maron. I think Mark Maron is the cheap man's Edward Blake. Yeah. So I think he would have worked much cheaper for the HBO version.
Yeah. I'd want to check it out. I just want to know if there's going to be Mr. Manhattan's blue dong swinging around. Anytime.
Why not? It's HBO.
Yeah.
They show lots of HBO. They show boobs, penises everywhere, just hanging around, flopping everywhere. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Now this was actually a really big story this week. The directors of the Han Solo movie got fired. They got fired. It was a duo. These are the same guys who did 21 Jump Street, the remake of the comedian version of it, the Lego movie. Phil Lord and Chris Miller. It says that they got stepped down, but the rumor is that they got fired.
rumor is they only had also 3 weeks left of filming left. So my question
apparently it was put over creative differences, which means that they didn't want to do something that the studios did.
According to from my story, from what I've heard, is they wanted them to stick to the script.
Yes,
but they're all about ad-libbing.
How weird! Disney wants you to stick to the script.
Exactly. So they did. They like the actors to have some freedom and do some ad-libbing and stuff. And they're like, no, you got to stick with what we wrote. So I understand the creative leeway and creative differences and all that stuff. But my question is, they're let go. Do they still get any credit in the movie? Like, especially when their credits.
I don't know if they would get credit. They're definitely getting paid.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know that it matters to them if they're credited as much as them getting paid for this movie.
Yeah. So.
I'm sure they're walking away with a nice little paycheck. Yeah. And apparently they're also sniffing around. I think it's the was it the Gambit movie, or something else. They're sniffing around some other superhero franchise. Oh no, it was oh darn it, I lost it now. It wasn't the Gambit movie. It was another one that doesn't have one currently. Marvel? Oh no, it was DC's The Flash, because the Flash does not have a director currently, and these guys are suddenly available now. Alternately, this movie already has the Han Solo movie already has a new director, Ron Howard. So they've already, literally like a day later, they had Ron Howard on the helm for this movie. Yeah, and Ron Howard made statements the next day because he showed up at some convention, and he was like, "Oh no, I've always been a part of this franchise. I've been a super fan. I was there when George Lucas had the idea. We were filming American Graffiti. I told him, what are you doing next?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing this. I want to do a space film with the budget of 2001, but the action of something else." So he's always been interested in this apparently, and apparently for the right price, you can hire Ron Howard to finish your Han Solo movie.
Hey man, they could have got Michael Biehn.
That would have been a very different film, yeah.
Let's throw even more Death Stars and blow them all up.
Yeah, I'm sure Kevin Smith would also been like, "Yeah, I'll finish your film. 3 weeks of shooting. I'll stick to your script. Don't worry about no snoochies and booches."
Exactly. They just be in the Millennium Falcon just talking about like, man, so that Leia chick, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is a prequel. Never mind.
Kids, one day you're gonna meet a young prince, space princess. Yeah. Make sure you don't fight over too much, kids.
What's up with that Lando dick?
Yeah.
What?
No, he's asking for references. Like, how does that taste, Han Solo?
Ew,
yeah.
I know that's chewy.
See, there you go. Plenty of outtakes there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of it for most of our movie stuff in our news section. On to the movie trailer showdown. We have 3 cool trailers that came in this week. There are plenty of mediocre ones, and only one wins. So we have Game of Thrones Season 7. We have Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later, and Pitch Perfect 3. So have you seen all 3 trailers?
Yes, the only thing is with Game of Thrones, I've never really saw the show from the beginning, so to know that there's 7 seasons, man,
this is for 7th season, yeah, for the end of season 7.
Is this their final?
I believe it is.
And I know supposedly it's going to be the final for also Pitch Perfect. I guess they're going for the trilogy.
Yes,
and
because they're getting old.
Yeah, yeah. And as for Wet Hot American Summer, I've seen the preview ones. It's a weird period film. It felt to be like it's watching one of those old movies that you would watch. Yeah. Early in the morning, they just happen to be on TV.
Yeah, it was set in. It's supposed to be set in the 80s, and it actually says in the trailer 81. Yeah. And so let's meet back 10 years later, and so 10 years later is gonna be 91. And so it very much is a period piece as far as them, the way they act, the way they look. But it's also about them growing up. But it's also just this weird comedy thing. So
I just love seeing Janine Garofalo back on anything.
Yes, I was happy to see her in the 90s version because she looks more her. It looks more her age, yeah. Because the prequel did not make her look that amazing to me. Yeah. But at least in the 90s, 91 version, she feels a little more age appropriate.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to see her just do something because she's very funny. So of the 3 again, which one would you say is your winner?
Honestly, I'm going to go with Pitch Perfect 3.
Oh, man, that was the same one I picked. Pitch Perfect 3. I'm a big fan of the franchise. Music is always fun, of course, but Fat Amy is always going to be the show stealer for me. And Pitch Perfect 3 was just funny as heck. So I like the trailer. I like the fact that it's oh, how do these girls do now? Their whole life revolves around, this music stuff, and they probably barely graduated college with any real knowledge. Mm-hmm. And so how are they faring in the real world where they're expected to have real jobs? And you see one as a smoothie girl another one of the girls lives with Fat Amy, and she lost her job, and everyone's kind of struggling as supposed to, as all 20 and 30-year-olds do when they leave college, and they don't actually have any real skills.
Well, that's how it is with some people. Like, can you imagine, like, all these, like, even currently right now, all these band geeks in general, all these a cappella groups, and all these, choir, Showtime stuff that you've done in high school, junior high, maybe even partially in college. What are you going to do that for career-wise after?
There are very few slots for like real musical careers. You can get in like the production side of it, but again, like I see your point, it's very limited, and those type of just hobby things really shine in college when you have the free time to do so.
Exactly.
But it's hard to turn that into a payable
Career.
paycheck.
Yeah.
And in this case, in the movie, part of it, it's they're competing against real bands for the USO apparently. Like it's going to be like this fun last minute girls thing, and it's just a fun movie. So I'm looking forward. I know my wife and his wife is probably as well looking forward to watching it when it comes out.
December, if I'm correct.
But yeah, I'm glad that we're able to figure out at least something for them to do in the third film.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just being like 7th-year college students.
Well, we got to do the trilogy, so we'll see how. Hopefully, it ends with a bang.
Yeah, so there you go. That's it. So Pitch Perfect 1. So there you go, folks. That's it for the show. Thanks for listening and watching, and watching us geek out about stuff.
Hopefully, you guys are staying out of this African heat, man.
And of course, if you want to help support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, you can do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
There you go. But for Geek Bytes Podcast, I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
Remember, folks, to go geek out about something.